Story-led Leaders, esse é o podcast da Salespring. Estamos aqui novamente com mais um episódio e o episódio de hoje vai ser um episódio especial. Vamos falar em inglês. O nosso convidado é o Giovanni D'Anna. Ele é investidor, anjo e advisor na Salespring e a gente convidou o Giovanni para contar sobre investimento na Europa, oportunidades de investir em startups brasileiras. Então o papo vai ser nesse sentido. No entanto, vamos falar em inglês com a tradução embaixo. Vamos dar as boas-vindas aqui ao nosso convidado e agora eu começo a falar em inglês. Hi, Giovanni. Welcome to our podcast, the Salespring podcast. And in this episode, we want to hear from you as an investor and advisor on Salespring and an Italian and European citizen. How can you bring to us your story to start this episode? Who are you? How did you come to this moment? And thank you to accept our invite to this special moment for us.
Thank you, Angelita, for the invite. I'm so happy to be here. So yeah, let's talk and spend some time together.
How about your story? How did you come up to this moment of your career, of your life, the decision that brings you here as an angel investor?
Yeah, I want to start about my experience in startups. I started my career in consultancy things, sales, etc. in third sector, so services for companies, small, medium enterprise, etc. Suddenly in my professional career, I replied to a job post on LinkedIn because a Slovakian startup was searching for a sales manager for develop the Italian market, and the country manager was building the team, the Italian team, and I did the interviews with these country managers. Is Andrea, that become also my great friend. Actually, he lives in Spain, and this was my first experience in a startup environment, and I felt in love because I worked for medium, small, big companies in Italy, but also in multinational that naturally have a branch in Italy, Swedish multinational, Swiss multinational, Dutch multinational. And if I have to think about my professional career, I have a lot of experience in these kind of companies. And definitely I love to work in a startup because actually I work in a startup, and this is my third startup that I developed the Italian country because the story about Andrea and that startup was a startup that is very similar to Gympass. Gympass is very famous all over the world. It's a sort of welfare startup that connected employees to gyms, to sports center, etc.
Yes, it's very famous in Brazil too.
Yeah, actually, the name is not yet Gympass, but is WellHub.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we was the competitor.
Okay.
The name of this startup was Fit Dream. It's a Slovakian startup, and the founders founds Italian, Polish and Slovakian market.
Okay.
So we started in Italy. We did a good job. In fact, after I think 1 year and something, a big German startup that was involved in the same sector acquired the Italian branch. Mm-hmm. And so I have to find another job because they fired the Italian the whole.
They closed the market.
Yeah, exactly. They closed the branch, and I come back to my most long experience because I was an headhunter for a multinational and also for boutique, for a search selection of personnel. But after this, I come back newly in another startup. The name is Per Pranzo. It was a competitor of meal vouchers, ticket restaurant.
Okay.
But the founders was very, very unlucky because they started in COVID time. So in COVID time, you don't have the lunch break in a restaurant, etc. So the investors at the same time say, okay, guys, we are finished the money. We are not acquiring money. You are not doing money with this startup. So we have to stop. And first of my third startup that I'm in is Identify. This is a startup that is involved in about how can I say, the selection of video, pictures and sounds, voices, if are generated from Gen AI or humans. So it's everything about anti-frauds for banking, online banking and insurance, and also about deep fake for newspaper, newspaper and broadcaster, etc. So this is my third experience, always about sales, because I'm passionate about sales, and if I can suggest to our friends, I suggest for sure to work in a startup, and later I will say also why if I suggest this.
I used to say that startup is not for everyone, because if you wanna a safe life, like for example in work, a safe space, a safe money every month, startup is not for everyone, because you have some moments that is not so sure, so it's not so easy to manage the emotions you have in working for a startup, especially in early stage that you were building the first clients, etc. So to work in a startup, you really need to appreciate to take risks. Is okay. Is a little bit unstable, but also you can grow very fast. You can learn a lot of things. You can learn with people. You can learn by doing yourself the things that in a big company you have a lot of stuffs to do. In a startup, you sometimes are a whole team. So it's not easy, not for everyone, but I understand. I'm also in love for startups. So in love that I founded Salespring. And Giovanni, I want to understand these because it's your first time being an angel investor and advisor for a startup. So you used to be on the other side of the table, and now you were the side of the founder in a table. So doing this thing for the first time, if someone are listening to us, some of our audience are listening to us and want to understand, how can I do this for the first time? How can I don't know, how can I have the courage to do such a thing, to put my money in a startup, and not only about the money, because for me as a founder, the money is important, but also the smart money. So how this investor, this advisor brings his knowledge, his experience to the table to help these startups succeed. So I want to hear from you, Giovanni, because it's your first experience now, and I hope it's the first of a lot of experiences. How this experience has been for you? How was the moment that you took this decision, made this decision, and said, okay, I want to do this? And how this process have been for you?
Thanks for this question, because from a lot of time I was thinking to start this thing, because I wanna differentiate my investment, because I have a real estate investment in Italy, but is from my parents. So I want to have a sort of a percentage that I want to build about my money. So I want to have some risky investment because investing in a startup is a risky business. But the pro of this investment that if the startup is growing, etc., and at the same time you wanna sell your equity in this startup, you can do for 5, for 6, for 7 that money that you took in the startup. So, but is not absolutely for the money, but is because I want to have a sort of a give back in this environment, because I'm involved in this environment of a startup environment. So after almost 20 years of experience about sales, etc., and after that I worked for 3 startups, I wanna give some advisement, some a sort of give back. So, and is very interesting for me because I'm learning, because this is my first experience as an angel investor or as an advisor. So I'm learning a lot of things. How can I say better? How can I say advice to you and for the team, etc. So yeah, not the first thing is not about money, but about the passion that I have for the startups.
And it's good when you can bring your knowledge to the table, because you have experience developing more than 3 startups in the Italian market. Also, you know how to approach the companies, how to open doors. And I can confess here that you were doing a great job for us. So not
Thank you.
only open doors, creating some important meetings, but also sending us all the time some content, some information, some news about the European market. So for us, and in the name of a Salespring team, is a very good thing, because since we born, we have this dream to go global. I know we need to find the right moment for this, but having a person, an Italian person, an Italian investor, when you are looking at the European market, it makes all the difference. Because one thing is if you were a Brazilian person and try to go global on United States, Europe, and also this is one of the things I want to bring to this conversation is some people that I said that we are looking at the European market. And some people say, why European market? Because in Europe, especially in Italy, we know that most of the young people are going out, and Italy are becoming a country with more, with an old population.
Yeah.
And but I also know that Italy is now trying to stimulate innovation in the country. So we will talk more about it later. But I saw this movement in Europe as an opportunity, because every startupper, every entrepreneur tried to go to United States. And is a very competitive market. Okay, there is a lot of opportunity, and the European market is not an easy market. But if you have someone that knows the rules, knows how to play the game, you are like a family for them. I think this could make the difference. And I want to connect it to my another point is, if you have to say, Giovanni, for the Brazilian founders, the startup in Brazil, for these moments that you have been in Brazil, knowing the people, the culture, and how good, I'm assuming here, how good we are in innovation. What would you say to these founders about Europe, or especially to Italy? How do you say to them about this market? Why should be a good thing to look at the European market?
First of all, the European market is a very rich market.
Why?
There are important countries, Italy as well, but also France, Germany, UK. UK is Great Britain, Ireland, Scotland, etc. Spain, Portugal. There are a lot of people there because, at example, Italy, that is very, very small country, have 66 million people. Brazil is half of South America, so it's huge about the territory, but have only 260 million of people. So there are a lot of people. So there are a lot of clients, potential clients. Mm-hmm. And I think about great opportunities between Brazil and Italy on a European market, because, at example, Brazil, as you said, is very, very good about fintech, about agri-tech, about anti-fraud.
Yeah.
And this could be good for, at example, Brazilian startups to come in Italy or in Europe. But also vice versa, from investor from Italy or from Europe to go to Brazilian, because, at example, the rate from euro, between euro and reais is huge, because 1 euro is 6 reais. So, at example, if an Italian investor wanna invest in a Brazilian startup, the power of the money is very, very big. For example, if you wanna invest 50,000 euro in a Brazilian startup, is about 150,000 euro, because the rate is 1 to 6, but is not 1 to 6, but is 1 to 3. I'm seeing about the price, about the cost of life, and I understood that is 1 to 3 average. Mm-hmm. This is the average. And also could be very interesting because we can take this opportunity, this technology from Brazil to Italy. So help also Italy to develop the technology, the innovation in Italy. So,
and do you see some movements in Italy that you can prove your point of view?
Yeah, one of these is an apart of a startup environment. Italian government is trying to let the Italian people that went in a foreign country to come back in Italy, about the taxation, or for example, 5 years you have low taxes to have this opportunity to Italian people that live, at example, in United States, in France, in Germany, to come back in Italy. So it is a sort of how can I say, help from Italian government.
But this is
a sort of a brain comeback for.
But this is related to innovation, or
also for innovation, because if, at example, you have a PhD or you have a good culture level of a culture, you have these opportunities. But this is another story. About the innovation, the Cassa Depositi e Prestiti is a CDP, is a government funds about startups.
Okay.
They are putting, the Italian government, they are putting a lot of money so to invest in a startup.
Okay.
And also in last 2, 3, 4 years, a lot of VC, venture capital, from other countries is coming to is doing investment in Italy.
Okay.
So they are giving money for Italian startups. And also Italian government are putting money in this startup environment. But the other very good very good notice is that also the region in Italy, because as Brazil have states, because Brazil is a huge country, in Italy we have a region, Campania, Apulia, Lombardy, etc. And that example, Apulia region, that is a region in the south of Italy, invented Tecnonidi, that is very, very good for startup, not only for Italian startup, but also for foreign startup. So if Salespring, at example, wanna invest in Italy and wanna open a branch in Italy, Tecnonidi could be a very, very good opportunity because they say they give 80% of the money that you can replace in 10 years at zero rate, almost zero rate. And if you have a team with, at example, only women, in these funds, you can also have a grant that you have not to replace, not to refund, 30%. So it's a lot of money that you have not to repay the region.
Yeah.
And this so you can add the helping from Italian government to help of region government.
To develop the region, right? Which is a good strategy.
Because the south of Italy haven't not a lot of work. So the region, in this case, want to help to create work for young people in this place.
You can look at the camera and say to Brazilian people, come to innovate and create your startup in Italy.
Come for sure in Italy, because Italy is becoming an interesting country to develop the innovation, the startup environment, etc. And also because I saw and I know that a lot of Brazilian people have Italian roots. So this could be an opportunity to connect with the grandfather, with the memories of your family, Italian family, etc. And so create a bridge from the past that a lot of Italian people come here to make Brazilian a great country. So we can have the opposite. So come in Italy to spend time, to spend a good life, to create, to build a family in Italy, because Italy is a good country that you can live a good life.
But we know that is not that simple, right? For example,
about
like we are talking here, like so I'm going to Italy and I'm opening a startup. No, it's not that way. It's not that simple.
Not so simple.
But
we can do it. It is hard.
Yeah, but which should be the steps that you suggest for someone that have a startup in Brazil and are thinking and try to expand to Europe or specifically to Italy? How this person can start? Because in our example of a Salespring, you were doing this because you were Italian. But if someone don't speak Italy, how can this person start?
This person can start absolutely. I think LinkedIn is the best option to create the connection.
Start the connections then.
Yeah, start the connection with, if at example, not necessarily in Italy. If a Brazilian startupper wanna open a Portuguese market, a Spanish market, a French market, or German market, etc., the first thing that they have to do is connected with people from that country and ask if they are interested to do some business together.
Which people would you suggest to connect? Give your example.
people that can help to open the market. Sales director, there is some option. Sales director, angel investor, for sure, in that country. Managing partner of VC, if this is some VC could be interesting to have that startup in the country, or a family office. You have to connect it with people that have money, but also people that can introduce you to important company in
And
that country.
also the innovation ecosystem is a good option.
Good option because, at example, in Italy, but as every country in the world, we have a startup studio, at example. So a lot of startup that is a company all over this startup that invest money in a startup. So you can also connect it with these people.
Good. So this is the first steps, but also the language could be a challenge, right? Because
in Italy, at example, in the north of Italy, I was born and raised in Naples in the south. But from 2010, I live in Milan. Milan is a very international city, and a lot of people speak in English in Milan. So you have at least have a Brazilian startup English, because it is very difficult that people in Italy speaks Portuguese. Is not a common thing. So if a Brazilian startup don't want to have a complication about language, naturally the first country that have to see is Portugal. But I think Portugal is not rich like Italy. Italy is more rich than Spain and Portugal. So if you are a Brazilian startup that have the knowledge of English, you can start from Italy or from UK, at example, or from Dutch or from Nordics, at example, Norwegian, Sweden, because in the Nordics a lot of people speaks perfectly in English.
I remember one call we had with a guy from I don't remember if we were talking about Malta. And
Malta.
This guy said the best option to expand is the place you have someone to represent the brand, for example, the branch. Because it's not going to be easy. Maybe it's impossible if you want to stay in Brazil while you try to develop a market in another country. I don't see this working, and this guy in this meeting said the same thing for us. So this is also another criteria, like you need to have someone in that region to develop the market.
No, absolutely. You have to be connected with the people in that, because it's quite impossible from, at example, Brazil develop Italy and you don't have a connection in Italy. It's not impossible, but it's very, very, very difficult. So first of all, you have to find a person or people that you can trust, and they
open the market.
Yeah, they are passionate about your solution, etc. So they felt in love with your solution and say, okay, we can do something here in Italy, at example, and develop the Italian market from scratch.
I see the here in Brazil, for example, if some company comes from another an international company wanna open market in Brazil, if they don't have someone from Brazil that understands our culture, that understands how things works, how people works, that for some kind of business you need to go to a physical meeting, to a lunch, to a happy hour. you are not getting the game here. So I imagine that every place you want to try to go global, you need to have this in mind. And
Because, for example, for my side, I can spend my networking in Italy, and for a Brazilian person that want to develop, they have to from scratch create this network. So
it's very hard. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And I see that some startups that tried to go global and they give up because it's too hard. So, for example,
my suggestion is to have a person that develop a country, or at least a partner that could be a system integrator in that country that can use your solution and can become a reality to sign first contracts and have the percentage or the equity of the Italian branch, at example. So you can also you can also have this option. Not the people, but create a connection with the partner, a system integrator that sell your solution in Italy.
Yeah. One thing is to go global. A lot of people don't recommend, but in Salespring, we are in the beginning. So, Giovanni, you were doing these first steps, trying to open some conversation, some opportunities to investigate this market for Salespring, and you are doing this great. And I want you to say to us, to bring to us some ways that you see to start. For example, for us on Salespring, it's impossible to start an international operation in this stage we are. The money we have is to keep the operation now while we are opening the Brazilian market. But we want to do this now to understand the European market, to see the possibilities, when to start, how to start, but we don't have this money because it's not cheap if you want to open a branch, for example.
Exactly.
It's not cheap. So first you pay and then you try to sell. So I don't see this as the first option. Which other options you can suggest for people that are listening to us now that is a way to start?
Absolutely. There are some good options. One option is to, and this is, I think, the best option, find a VC that is interesting to create an Italian branch of Salespring. And so the VC give you the money and you can start the Italian branch.
But the VC, in this case, will not ask for clients and will not ask for... to already have a branch, for example, or already have...
Yes, okay. The VC usually ask for the traction.
Okay.
So if the VC see that in the Brazilian market, Salespring have first clients, first contract signed, developing the features, are growing the team, so is going very well. The VC, is risky for the VC, but they can say, we can try to open the Italian market and replicate this successful story in Italy. But
they get your equity. So maybe it's not the best first option. What do you think?
Maybe it's not the best option, but
you start with the money.
VC have a lot of money.
Okay.
So if you have money from VC, you can growing very fastly because you can hire other people in Brazil. You can hire some people in Italy. So, how can I say, the direction is fast.
Okay.
The other option could be to find first clients in Italy And after 2 clients, 3 clients, depends of the amount of the contract, you can open the branch. Because as you say, is not cheap to create a branch in Italy or in another country.
Yeah.
Other good option is to find a family office, because family office as the VC have a lot of money.
Okay.
And other option could be to find angel investor in Italy that
Like we did.
yeah, exactly. As I did. So there are some option and
this corporate partner also can be an idea. For example, if you find a company that are interested in your sector and want to invest in a startup, so they can be your like a partner, and they put the money. This could be also an option, right?
Okay, about the corporate, you say not the vendor or the system integrator.
No,
okay, yeah,
the corporate.
Yeah.
Also
This could be another. But about this corporate situation is not common in Italy.
In Brazil is more common,
Italy,
I think.
In Italy, no.
And connecting to this point, we are in our last minutes here. I wanna hear from you about why investing in Salespring. Why a person from Italy investing in a startup in Brazil, in a sales tech? Which kind of things drove you to this decision?
Thank you for this is an important and fundamental question. I was involved in sales from a lot of years. As I said, more of 20 years. So when you talked about your project, about Salespring, etc., I was very curious. And you show me the platform. And the features for me was very, because I'm a salesperson. So I know completely understand what they need about the platform, about the tools that can, for me, is useful and can create my work easily.
To improve
my work easily. And when I saw Salespring, I say, wow, this platform is amazing, because a lot of features in the platform and is involved and on sales, in internal sales, not. At example, CRM is about outside the company. Salespring is about everything about inside, the variable, the quotas, the goals, etc. So I think this is very interesting because it's a niche. It's not you have competitors, but not too much. So for me, this was the most important and most interesting thing. That is a niche that can develop, and you can create a lot of opportunities, because not as a CRM that there are a lot of CRM all over the world. Salespring is another thing. So you can develop this market. Is not a blue ocean, because there are competitors. But I realized that was very interesting. And why Brazil? Because I learned, etc., that Brazilian market and Brazilian economy is very dynamic. So if I wanna bet on a market, I decided to bet in Brazilian market, because also I say in these days, as also in April, when I was in Web Summit of Rio, I feel the dynamicity of the startup environment, the company, also the enterprise. Because in Brazil, I also see a lot of big companies. So I have the feeling that the Brazilian economy is growing fastly, and this for me is very important. So this is the why that I decided to invest in Salespring. And
if you give some recommendation to someone that want to invest in a startup, which should be the key metrics that you recommend to look at to decide? Because it's good to have a good product, but this is not everything. We see a lot of startups dying every day with a good product. So which other stuffs you recommend to take a look?
Yeah, a lot of people give some suggestion about this. At example, one of the most important thing is the execution, because you can also have the greatest idea of the world, but the execution is not good. The startup die after almost 1 year. So the execution is very important. If I have to say another thing is the team. If you say the team that is covered operation, sales, techniques, information, communication, so pillars in the team, because actually some posts, at example on LinkedIn, they are saying that is becoming the era of solo entrepreneur. So one founder that create a startup. But for me, this is not a good option. I love to see a team involved, so people passionate about the product, passionate. When you see the eyes that is becoming brilliant and speaking about that example, Salespring, or about other startup, this is the feeling that, this could be a good opportunity to invest in a startup. Another important thing is the founder. If you see a founder that is passionate, that is in love with the products, that have experience in this. At example, you have a good experience about sales. So you make your hands on dirty about this environment, and also the effort. Is not about how many hours you work in the startup, but the effort also is very important. So if I can suggest, I suggest these 3 or 4 things to some angel investor or investor in startups.
Yeah. Fail, but fail fast, right? And I think the resilience of the founder is a key word for the
because
for this moment.
I'm an employee in a startup and I'm in a roller coaster. So I can imagine for a founder is worst.
Yeah, you see now.
Yeah.
Very close. How is the founder's life?
Yeah. So if you are not resilient,
the startup would die.
Yeah.
And also you said about solo founder. Actually, is if you see the point of view of an investor, for investing in a solo founded company is not a good idea, because
for me, no.
If this founder dies or something happened to this founder, what happened to the business?
Because with we are seeing about the Gen AI. We can do everything with the ChatGPT, with the DeepSeek, etc. But you are alone. You are one person. So yeah, I prefer to invest in a startup that have a team.
And to finish this conversation now for real, the two key metrics you would suggest to look in a business to say if things are going well.
Clients, developing new features because it's a startup. So you have to push about research and development. So you have to create a new technology or new features on a startup. So yeah, this could be the most important thing about.
If you don't have clients that are paying for the solution is not validated. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
In our journey in Salespring,
and the Salespring is the best thing that I'm seeing, that Salespring is growing a lot about the clients, because you started at the end of April. At the end of May, you found 2 clients. And this is very, very rare that in a startup. Startup are very fast companies. But at example, in Identify, we found the first client after 4 months. So after 1 month, 2 clients is amazing. So yeah.
Thank you. Giovanni, we are now finishing our moment here. I want to say thank you for this contribution.
It was a very pleasure to
bring your experience, for believing Brazilian market, for believing Salespring, and for giving to our audience this point of view about investment in Brazil, but also opportunity to have a company in Italy. So thank you for that, and say thank you too.
No, I want to add only another thing. When I was in Web Summit in April in Rio, I saw a strange thing. Italy and Brazil are very connected about culture, about history, but also about classical business. You know, Fiat about automotive, or TIM about telco is present here and have a strong presence. But when I was in Web Summit, no startup from Italy, no stand from governor, not enterprise from Italy, and this is a pity for me, because we can create a connection between Brazil and in Italy, and also because the culture, we are very close. So I think in the future we could do a good job about this.
We are a good match because we have a lot of young people with a lot of energy doing a lot of good things in Brazil. And in Italy, we have a beautiful culture that also everyone that goes there fell in love with the Italian culture. But also, Italy is a rich country with money to invest, and they have the needs to grow fast in these in terms of innovation. So I think it's a good match.
We need innovation in Italy. So
Thank you, Giovanni.
Welcome. And it was a very pleasure for me to be here with you. So goodbye, and thank you for this time.
Thank you.